You are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is January 15th, 2025 meeting of the Long Beach Human Resources Committee. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Good afternoon, everybody. It is January 16th and 15th and 2025. It's our first HR committee meeting for the year. It is 1:05 p.m. We'll now call the meeting to order, and our newly appointed chair, Cindy Levy, will take over the meeting agenda from here. So welcome, everyone.
Welcome to everyone. And first order of business is to see if there are any public comments. Anyone on Zoom have any comments? No? Okay. Then we will go into unfinished business, which is the employee handbook review to be continued today. JD, do you want to start off or?
Yeah, I'm just here. I actually lost access to the handbook when my Teams account was shut down. So I think Meg and Mark, you guys could have it. There's a few, Meg, if you want to recall, right? There's only a few other items we had to finish up today before it could go to the attorney for final review.
Correct.
Good.
And I will figure out in Teams, number one, see if I can at least get you the red line copy, JD, just so you have it, and then get our newest members access so that we can, Mike is not here today. He couldn't make it. So the new members haven't even seen the handbook or the red line, I'm assuming. So, if you're okay, JD, we were going to push that till February just to actually go over any other parts of the handbook. I know we had a few little sections. I mean, we're getting close. So.
Yeah, no concern from my part. I think maybe from an IT perspective and I'm happy to help. I'd like to finish this project. Because it's been something we did all in 2024, but from an IT perspective, I was the owner of the Teams of that Teams group, and I don't know unless Meg, do you still have access to that, or has that been disabled?
I guess I didn't realize that can happen, so I didn't bring my computer today, but I'll check this afternoon when I get home. I wonder if we could just add your personal email until we're done with it, or again, I'll figure out how to get a red line copy out to everybody. And then Beth and Cindy can see what took us many months of looking through. So, I guess, yeah, I'm not as familiar with the Teams. I've seen plenty of shared files through school and work now and things, but I'll figure it out.
And hopefully K Plus could help us as well. Because I think, JD, what occurred is when your town email was deactivated in January, and then the new council members were added into that. So they still have, the email account there. It's just say your profile was just more or less, deactivated at the time. So hopefully they can just, reconnect the Teams portion to get you access to that, even if we have to use a different email. But we'll reach out to K Plus.
Okay.
I think the last part, which might be helpful having Mike here for, was just, since Chief wasn't at the last meeting, was those categories, JD, and do certain categories get benefits, and just making sure we're consistent. That was one of the spots I believe we left off at.
Yeah. I think that was actually the final, that was kind of the final one is to get Chief's input on exactly the clarification on the benefits and the categories. Yes.
And then Chief and I have discussed that we also are going to talk in this committee about, number one, And I think we'd already discussed just the PTO, that little table, we're gonna possibly add a column to it for regular part-time that only works 60 hours as opposed to 80. And we're going to look at just the part-time benefits and amending, kind of giving a recommendation to council on possibly increasing, and also the carryover. Regular part-time are not allowed to carry over any PTO, so we'll amend that section as well before we send this to the attorney.
Okay, further business, we're, gonna talk about selecting future meeting dates, possibly changing the time. I, for one, would be in favor of moving it from 1 o'clock towards the end of the day, maybe 4 o'clock or something. So it's a,
I leave at 3, I leave at about 10 to 3 every day to get kids at school, so
and when time do you start?
right after I drop them, so about 8:15 I get here, 8:10, 8:15. The other option is to make it an evening meeting.
Hate to do
But
that.
that's,
Yeah.
are daytime hours difficult for you, or just particularly on this day?
I just would prefer to have it at the beginning or the end of the day, and not right.
If we do like,
I think if we did beginning,
Yeah.
it's fine. There's not a huge reason.
I could do, yeah, in the mornings, anytime, if you wanna do as early as 9.
If we could then, so on these days, it's payroll, which is usually 2 to 3 times a month. Is anyone open to changing our meeting date then to Tuesdays or Thursdays as opposed to Wednesday? Because Wednesday mornings, I have to do payroll, so.
If it was Tuesday or Thursday, then it would have to be in the afternoon. For me.
Okay.
But so, but you said 2 or 3 Wednesdays, so is there one Wednesday that you don't do payroll that would work? Could you?
Correct, we tried to keep it on the same day each month, whether as in the second Wednesday, the second Tuesday. No payrolls, just Wednesdays usually.
Oh, whatever.
It's every other Wednesday, twice, 2 to 3 times a month, so.
So you said the second Wednesday, that would necessarily be a day or not doing payroll. Consistent. Or like.
Let me go to the town website, hold on. Calendar.
Beth or Georgetta, is there a certain time of day works better for you?
No, I'm pretty flexible,
Okay.
so that's.
Georgetta,
Early, not that good.
Oh, okay.
I mean, really early.
like a 10, is it 10 o'clock?
It'll be fine. Thank you.
Okay, so if we look at 10 AM,
What day?
the same week, so we're at the third Wednesday right now of each month. So I guess what time later on Tuesday or Thursdays would? Any, like, is 1 o'clock to, is that still to midday?
On Tuesday.
Okay, again, I just have to leave at 2:45, so are we okay when we have items to discuss? Well, let's look at mornings then.
Yeah, maybe,
So the council meeting is on the second Monday. I guess the Wednesdays are just gonna vary based on the months now that I'm looking at this, depending when they fall.
Well, how about even like 2 o'clock be okay, or?
That just gives us 45 minutes, so we've had 2-hour meetings, we've had, usually we're at about an hour.
Okay.
So we would just,
1 o'clock.
to have everybody come 1:30,
Yeah, 1:30,
that gives us at least a full hour.
what day are you looking at then?
the same Wednesday.
The third Wednesday of every month?
So keeping it the third Wednesday. Yeah, I mean, usually payroll, yeah, that's fine.
At 1:30. Yeah, that should be good.
I think I was moving the budget meetings as well because of payroll. We moved those from a Wednesday to a Tuesday. I mean, the only Friday meetings are the building commission on the second Friday. So if we could do a morning, how's the morning on Fridays for anybody? Or no,
Same Wednesdays.
No,
you'd rather do
I
Wednesday?
have to have a lot of my chiefs meetings, the other departments on Fridays.
well, Wednesday at 1:30 works, and
Does Wednesday at, oh yeah, I said I could do the mornings on Wednesdays, yeah. Okay,
if you want to keep it at 1, I mean.
I'd rather do the morning, but if mornings on Tuesdays and Thursdays don't work, then, okay. Got it, okay. Okay, then let's for now keep it at, we'll change it to 1:30 and keep it on that third Wednesday.
Sure.
Is that okay
That sounds great.
for everybody? Okay. And we can amend, what we have to notice all of the meetings to the paper. And then if we change them, we have to also notice the paper. So that's just, we try to keep them
Right.
consistent, so.
So we're gonna go the third Wednesday every month at 1:30. So the next meeting would be February 19th. Got it.
Okay,
All right.
All right, and a recap of the 2024 business. Invoice.
so I guess I can start, HR wise, we had the most employee changes that the town's had in a while. We had 4 employees resign for various reasons, and then we had, and 1 retired. And then we had 4 new employees. So that was all in 1 year, so that was a lot. We revised, Mark and his office revised the checklist for employee hiring. I believe that was used when you guys just interviewed the
Yeah.
Parks employee,
Mhm.
the director. And we then worked through, we kind of just started, in the February meeting doing the handbook, gentlemen? And just kind of took off and took it meeting by meeting.
Is the handbook brand new or are you revising the current?
It was revised in, at least the copy I have says revised November of 23.
Mhm.
Although I don't think many changes were made in that revision. So I think the last time it was really revised was 2022.
Mhm.
We have the contact, and the prior council approved this attorney, a labor attorney, to review what we've done, the changes we've made, which are many. I think we touched most sections of the handbook, so. And what else, JD or Mark, anything to add that I'm forgetting?
No, I mean, annually, we'll look at, insurance options and employee benefits. Reference like healthcare. We usually get that information from our broker, which is currently General Insurance. We've had them now for a couple of years. And we usually bring it to this committee, to share that information. Compensation for employees, we usually try to have that to the council by no later than July, maybe August at the latest, so that the town council can then make a decision if there'll be any merit increases for the incoming year. So, throughout the year, maybe just keep your ear to the ground that, hey, things are going on between inflation, cost of living increases, reasons that we can justify to the council if merit increases should be given. And then throughout the year, we do an employee evaluation once a year. Typically, this committee doesn't see those evaluations. They're filed in the personnel files in the clerk's office. However, if there's one that there are concerns with, would typically be brought to the attention of the HR committee. If they're just, standard evaluations with no issues, typically we don't send them to the committee for review. We have, as Meg indicated, a couple of new employees. We do monitor their performance weekly as far as any deficiencies or any coaching sessions that need to occur with them. And then we address it with the individual department heads as needed. And
How many employees are
There are a total of 12, right, 13
full-time
full-time.
and, but the amount of W-2s is around 50
For summer camp.
with summer camp.
Yeah. Yeah, that usually starts to increase in June and then dies off in August when summer camp ends.
And if you think every time there's an employee change, there would be the old employee and the new employee, so if our employees stay, which we anticipate, at least for the foreseeable future, that would lessen as well.
Yeah.
By a couple.
That's all I can think of right now.
Thanks, Mark. Georgetta, did you have anything to add or?
No, well, I was just gonna say, I'm sorry, that our previous revision wasn't that comprehensive. This has been the most comprehensive overall.
And Georgetta's been on HR for a few years, right?
Yeah, we won't say like my age, we won't say.
She's a great asset. And Mike Conasec was on and then was off and is back on, so. Did either of you have any goals, ideas with experience that, listening to us to add for the year or?
Do you do any team building? We want to keep our employees, right? You said that they're a good group now and just trying to build that.
I think just our communication sometimes, for example, out of my office, after being here a year, there's a room for improvement with getting them insurance information or resources for questions. Mark and I discussed, we have this HR committee that has had various roles over the last few years, but I think there's improvement for just our processes, the directions that people need to take when items come up or arise. So better communication, team building, we do lunches.
Yeah, we pull them together for lunch. We try once a month. Sometimes it's every other month. Like last summer, we grilled out back. We have patio furniture we put out back. We would set up tables and then we'd invite all the employees from all the departments to join us out back for lunch. And then everybody would just take a 45-minute break and just sit and talk about anything. And that seemed to have some good success last year. So.
And I don't think employees would be opposed to something like that once or twice a year, but I do think during office hours and then people are busy, so we think it would just be figuring out how to make that work where they don't need to come after hours. Because most of the employees that are full-time have set hours during the day.
Yeah.
Then we, Then we've also provided for all the town employees in the new public safety building out back. We have a new fitness center that we took all the employees back. They toured it. They all have access to it. Several of them are utilizing the new fitness center out back as well. So they're either doing it before work or after work or on the weekends. So that's worked out nice where a couple employees will run into each other and they're working out. Where they no longer go to the YMCA across the street, they now have a fitness center in the new building out back. And that was totally paid for in total $50,000 to $60,000 in-kind donations from residents across the town. Didn't cost the town a single dime to do that, which is very, very generous of the residents to support that. So, in fact, this morning, there were some firefighters that were out back utilizing it this morning, so, which is nice to see. So.
And then we had JD just for the year, wants to see through this handbook review. But JD, in your experience, anything to add or goals you would like to see us working towards?
No, I don't think I have anything really to add. I think maybe just doing also a highlight is there was within the police department, there was a new rank added. There was some change there because of some retirement as well. I don't know, Chief, if you want to kind of get into that of what had transpired in 2024 with the addition of the rank of corporal and all the hires that were within the police department, given the size of the department, there was a decent amount of headcount added there as well.
We had the retirement last year of our chief deputy marshal, which would be the individual just below my office, was James Schooley, retired after 27 years. We then promoted Sergeant Mitchell Seitz to that position. Mitchell just celebrated this month 6 years of service with the town. Very, very young patrol force. Last year, we hired 2 new deputies. So this year, they'll just be hitting their first year. Corporal Farthing was promoted from deputy marshal to corporal, and he took over the responsibilities of our training position. So he's also the training coordinator and helps with the supervision of the deputy marshals. In fact, this entire week, Corporal Farthing is away at the Indiana Law Enforcement Academy down in Indianapolis. He'll be there all week, getting certified as a certified firearms instructor, where he can then come back and not only instruct our officers, but other officers throughout the state in firearms. And then the officers can get credit for the training that he provides. If he was not certified by the academy, the training does not count towards our continuing education that we're required by law to do every year. Each year, we as law enforcement officers have to have a minimum of 24 hours of continuing education. We have a goal of 40 hours or more is what we typically try to attend each year. And we've been very successful in either doing it in-house or attending conferences or training outside of the department training as well. So Corporal Farthing's doing an exceptional job in the training. Not only is he going to be a certified firearms instructor, he is a certified instructor through the academy. He is a standard field sobriety instructor through the academy, which is related to like operating motor vehicles while intoxicated. He's also a drug recognition expert. There are only a few across the entire county here in LaPorte County. I think there may be a handful of 8 of them. He is one of the 8 certified DREs in the county. And then there's what else? There's a couple other things he's certified in. I'm slipping on that right now. But other than that, the department is, like I said, very, very young. They're doing a great job. The officers that we did hire came to us with experience from other departments. Deputy Disbro was hired from the LaPorte County Sheriff's Department, where he was the sheriff's deputy. And then Deputy Matthew Vopat, we hired him from the town of Westville, where he was a deputy marshal in Westville. And previously was in corrections in the state of New York, where his father was a NYPD officer, and Matthew wanted to follow in his footsteps there, but decided to move to Indiana. And now we have Matthew with us. So, and they're both doing great work here in the town. In fact, Matthew Vopat is a certified emergency medical technician as well. So he's an EMT, so he can respond to medical calls and act as a more or less just a step below a paramedic as well, which is very nice to have on calls.
And we have 3 Matthews that are police officers.
All M's, yeah, Mitchell, Mark, and 3 Matthews, so. But we'll do a good job throughout the year as we'll set up an email for you, Beth. Cindy just had her email set up a couple weeks ago. Georgetta's had one now for a while. So as we lead up to our monthly meetings, we'll get information out to you. If there are any employee concerns, or if an employee brings a concern to either myself or to Meg, then typically if it needs to rise to this committee, we send it right off to you, and then we'll, either have a subcommittee take a look at it, or the committee as a whole. Obviously, being personnel issues, we try to stay away from mentioning the employee's name as we discuss it in public settings such as today and that. But we'll do a good job of communicating with you and keeping you abreast of any new information.
Thank you. All right, anything further?
No, believe so.
All right.
There's no questions. We could adjourn then.
All right, well, we will adjourn and meet again on February 19th. Thanks, JD.
Thank you.
Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
You too.
Thank you. Great working with you.
You as well. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.